Hello, Frugal Force. Once again, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty, and today we're doing another issue of Flashback from the Stash. Now, not too long ago, just last month for Halloween, I had a Halloween theme, and therefore I did Captain America issue 402, which was the storyline Man and Wolf. That was part one. It was a very divisive storyline. A lot of people didn't like it, and some like it just for the pure goofiness of it. So, with that said, it had a lukewarm response, and I didn't really expect anything fantastic from it, due to, as I said, it wasn't the most popular of series in the first place. Now, with that said, I still had a lot of people asking me, hey, can you give us more of that series? So, you know what? I said, why not? I enjoyed it. Let's have a little fun. So, for today's Flashback for the Stash, I'm heading back once again to 1992, issue 403 of Captain America, Man and Wolf, part 2 of 6. And we start right at the cover, Cap versus the malevolent Moonhunter, and you see him kicking Moonhunter off the Skycycle. But the more important thing about this cover is, look at the bottom, guest starring Wolverine, because yes, that's what Marvel did in the early 90s, is if you wanted your book to sell thousands more of copies, all you had to do was put an appearance of Wolverine in it, because Wolverine was pretty much like printing money at that time. He was hot and just powerful in the comic book sales. Everyone wanted him. Alright, so turning in, we jump right in, and we look at there, once again, writer was by Mark Grunwald. Rick Levins was the penciler, and as I said, it was hit and miss. He wasn't anything super spectacular. But this book picks up right where we left off with Moonhunter there, had his lasso, or whatever whatever you want to call it, his rope around that werewolf's neck. It was pulling that away. It says, bad doggy, you're giving the full moon a bad name. So right off the bat, we start with a goofy pun. Captain America looks up and is like, what in the world's going on? And so Captain America thinks, hey, it doesn't matter who he is, I can't stand by and let him hang someone, even though it's a wolf. So he throws his shield at it, and it hits the rope, which is no good. The cable's too tough to sever. So yes, there was a tough cable that not even Cap's shield would sever it with a mighty throw. And I actually like that picture there with him throwing it. It looked pretty good there. And then anyway, the Moonhunter says naughty naughty and shoots the wolf, because the wolf was struggling to get by, and it looks like it's like tranquilizer darts or something like that. And it says, later for you, shield thrower, and as Captain America's shield comes back, so he takes off. And Cap notices he wasn't trying to kill the thing, he just wanted to subdue it. So clearly, he's keeping these things for some reason. We've seen that in the first issue. And we see Captain America back with Dr. Druid. Says, how are you doing? And he says, I've stopped the bleeding. I'm almost past the pain. Pursue the interloper. I'll be okay. And then the next panel, we see Captain America. And I always liked these back then when they did these. They would show like multiple images of the character, but they would use a lighter color or a single shade of color that's a light color to show the movement until it transitions to the fully colored version where the character is at that moment. So he jumps back on the Skycycle there to get airborne. And we get back to Moonhunter and says, okay, Furry, you're strapped in as tight as it is. Ties to gets now. Let's haul. And so he takes off too. All right, we turn the page and we see that Captain America is following that Moonhunter guy. And he goes, will you get a load of this? Shield thrower's giving chase. Fun time. Which I have to ask, who's he talking to? I mean, there's no one to talk to there but himself or the wolf that's subdued and probably tranked at this point. So he goes, I'll just slow down a little and let him catch up. And then you see Moonhunter does a loop-de-loop around Captain America and blasts his Skycycle. So Captain America's Skycycle gets shot down, and you see Cap going to the ground, plummeting. But what? No, he isn't. Look at that. What did Cap do? He jumped off the Skycycle at Moonhunter and catches his flying bike, whatever you want to call his Skycycle. He says, shield on my back protected me when the back engine blew. Shockwave hoisted me skyward. Luck and skill did the rest. So the explosion propelled him. And thank goodness for that shield. No, it doesn't mention anything about his arms and legs and part of his head that's exposed, right? But we'll skip past that because it's comics. Right? And Cap delivers a mighty kick to his face and says, okay, Silverface, you owe me a Skycycle. So he gives him that nice, good kick. And then Moonhunter goes, if it weren't for my padded mask, that might have really hurt. So now we know this Moonhunter's wearing a padded mask, which makes sense because he's, working and training and manipulating these werewolves, if you will. So he's got to wear something bite resistant. And then he says, kind of like my spiked knuckles to your chin. Takes a shot at Cap, and he's like, you missed me, and I won't. And Cap punches him right in the gut. And then, of course, Moonhunter says, my mug ain't all that's padded, Pally. So even that part is padded as well, which once again makes sense. Now eat silver, and he shoots Cap right in the chest. And there's no way Cap can stop him in time. So Cap, ends up falling down. Now, as we see Moonhunter leaving and passing by, look who we see over by the Welcome to Starksboro sign there is none other than Wolverine. So he sees that going across. Moonhunter's landing says, streets clear tonight. Dreadman must be having one of his midnight masses. The doc will want to check this one out. Figured out why she bolted. So in other words, why did this female werewolf bolt? Then he says, this one is tight-muscled, she-wolf. She must work out. Now, so be careful there. That might be triggering to any SJW. Once again, this is one tight-muscled she-wolf. Must work out. So was he groping it? Was he groping this furry thing? Who knows? Anyway, we move to the next scene there on the next page, and we see the wolves growling here. These are some more of those fully erect man-wolf kind of things. It says, yo, Gary, Mike, fuel it up and check the right throttle. It's been sticking. So then we flash to another panel, and we see there's experiments or whatever happening on this wolf. And Moonhunter goes in and goes, hey, Doc, I got me a live one. Found her 20 miles from here. And now what two the guys didn't recognize her? That means either you've been cranking out these fur people faster than anyone can keep track, or she ain't one of yours. And she says, bring her here. So in other words, there's even more of these things, right? They keep showing us more and more. All right, so we go to the next page here, and we cut to another scene now. We're flashing to the Avengers headquarters, and we have D-Man laying here. Okay, Mr. Dunphy, just one more test, and that'll be it for today. And if you remember from last issue, he's just not mentally there, after his issues he ran into. And so they're asking about the diagnosis, and they talk about that, and it's not good. Poor fellow, what if he's like this for the rest of his life? Will the captain insist we care for him? Oh, of course Captain America would. Captain America would never leave somebody without some kind of care, right? All right, so next we jump to the next page with Captain America. All right, so if you remember, Captain America was, falling because he took that shot. And so we see Captain America falling. Says, not one of my better landings, but at least I'm still in one piece as he goes through the trees. And the branches, have slowed him down. These slugs may not have been able to penetrate the various reinforced layers of my combat suit, but they still sting like no one's business. And then he goes, there's my Skycycle, and notices it's completely wrecked and it's not going anywhere. So he runs to check on Dr. Druid. It says 15 minutes later. So he goes, Druid, he looks, and he goes, Doctor. And Doctor says, I was just sleeping. After I did all I could for myself through meditation, I decided to rest till you returned. Now, wait a minute here. You're in an area that's not safe. You were attacked by werewolves, but it's okay to relax and sleep. Can anyone see the hole in that plot line of thinking there? That does make me wonder. Well, anyway, he tells Captain America that he's well enough to move. So Captain America takes him, and they go on foot then. Says, I heard the explosion. My Skycycle blew up thanks to my fright-winged foe. And then Dr. Druid asks him, can he send another? And Cap says, they could, but since this is a private mission, I'm reluctant to involve any of my teammates unless absolutely necessary. And Dr. Druid says, we won't need them. Now that I've touched the wolf, I will be able to track it down by psychic aura. You sure you're up to this hike? So anyway, they do this hike. And meanwhile, we get a cutscene again to Starksboro. And inside this church, probably in a basement area, but maybe not.Maybe it's just this eerie in the inside, but I tend to doubt it. We see Mass must be over. Now where? And then we turn to the next page. Perhaps in the Street Master. And so this Nightshade is looking for somebody. And then we see him in a shaded figure. We can't completely see who they are yet. It says, what is it? Moonhunter captured a stray werewolf. And it wasn't one of ours. So now we've got a dun dun dun. Not only are they getting wolves, but where did this wolf come from? He was like, you are certain? Yes, I've tentatively identified the stray. And she talks to him, a Chinese proverb of Kunlun we meet a few months ago. So it's getting into some backstory of something else. It says, then it must have been this. And he holds this thing that looks like a marble, a jewel of some sort. The moon gem Jameson procured. You've restored it already. Yes, though I've yet to plumb the depths of the arcane potential. Still, its mystical emanations must be acting like a beacon, drawing werewolves to the site. So now it gets there. We've got this jewel here, this moon gem, and it's actually attracting werewolves as well. We had best be prepared for further visitations. Examine the Ferocia, won't you? Determine the basis of her lycanthropy. Perhaps she can be used to speed up the conversion of our populace. So why are they trying to make all these werewolves? Only time will tell. She says, I'll see to it at once. And then we hear an alarm. And we look outside on the next panel, and it's none other than Wolverine fighting werewolves. All right, so Wolverine's going to town on these things. And it goes to his thoughts here on the next page. Didn't figure my investigation of the werewolf murder in these parts would lead to a whole flaming town of suspects. Too many of them to fight off with fist. Had to pop my claws. Persistent bunch of furballs, leaving me no choice but to slice and dice them. And then we see a whole pack of them are all over Wolverine, and Moonhunter comes up to him. This is not good. First Captain America, and now that mutant Wolverine, because we need more comic book sales. So anyway, by the way, if you hear any background noise and stuff, that's what happens when you have a family. So, you know what it is, what it is. You probably hear my little girl, which I might be calling her American Dream. If you guys like that name, let me know in the comments. Because if anybody knows their Captain America MC2 universe, there was American Dream, which is the female Captain America at that point. So that's what I'm thinking about naming her. All right, so anyway, we cut back to the comic. We got Wolverine fighting him. A goon with a gun. And we see that Moonhunter's got like a double-barrel shotgun. He says, I'll let the captain slide, but Wolverine here inside the city limits, I wouldn't try it. So he shoots pretty much almost, just a few feet away, Wolverine, point blank with his shotgun. Wolverine shrugs it off, roar, and throws Wolves over, and bam, he nails him again. He's still not down. Bam, bam, scrappy little tyke. So he shot him not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. And then finally, Wolverine falls down. So get him off, you. Get off him, you mutts. He ain't a midnight snack, Moonhunter says. Now make yourselves useful and take him to Doc Nightshade's move. So now Doc Nightshade has also captured Wolverine. 2 hours later, we flash back to Dr. Druid and Captain America, where they've walked to town. It says, the sun will be up in a few hours. Want to rest before we proceed? And Dr. Druid answers, no way. No, my wounds are fine. The walk's invigorated me. It may behoove us to locate our werewolf before daybreak transforms him back to human. The Cap's like, all right. So they keep on going. All right. So anyway, the next page, the Cap says, something's unusual about this town. Dr. Druid says, what do you mean? And the pall of mysticism hangs over these environments like an invisible fog. It is as if this place were a hotbed of arcane activity. And then all of a sudden we look and Cap and Dr. Druid are completely surrounded by wolves. And it says continued in 2 weeks. So that was the next part. So now Captain America are surrounded by Captain America and Dr. Druid surrounded by wolves. Wolverine's been captured. We still don't know why they're creating werewolves. And now we know also a gem is attracting werewolves to the town. And that's the end of that issue. And now, that once again, I'm not going to cover the next part. This was broken into 2 parts. The next part is a story about Diamondback. But I'm not going to do that. Who knows? Maybe I'll cover that in another issue or another episode of Flashback from the Stash. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to hit like and subscribe. And if you really want to truly help me, go over to my VidMe and you can subscribe there for as little as $1 a month or even give a one-time tip. And just as a heads up, I don't have it up, but I plan on for the next year, starting in January, to have a Patreon started. I've got almost all the information in. I'm just hammering out a few more details. That way, if you want to help me that way and support me monthly or whatever methods I choose, my goal is to use that money to help make better videos, to help better with equipment, to maintain equipment, and things. I'll put all the things there. If it ever starts to exceed that, the materials and things that I use, any of the leftover will be used to start a college fund, is what my thoughts are, to help fund Little Frugal and his sister, my little girl's college funds as well. So any help that can be done would be absolutely welcomed. Okay, guys, thank you again, and until next time, keep it frugal.